Hey guys, Grant here. Once again, thank you for checking out the post show. Dave and I have been having a lot of fun recording these after we finish up with the My Hero pod. It's a great way to catch up with one another and wind down after we record. So yeah, again, thank you so much for checking it out. So two little things of housekeeping for the episode. One, just because we talked about quite a few things this episode, but specifically we talked about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's kind of new. It's not really, it's a big property there. So we just want to give a heads up on some spoiler warnings from the 15-minute to the 30-minute mark. It's just pretty much in that window. We kind of just talk about the whole season, get it all out there. Just here we put it out there for you guys. And secondly, it's a bit of a long episode, but we hope everyone, checks it out right to the very end. We have some pretty big news for the show. You're probably visually going to see it first. We have a logo, very, very exciting. But like I said, you should check it out to the end. Dave and I kind of nerd out a little bit, and it's, we're very excited. This is a huge step for us, and we look forward to all the further steps we're going to take. So anyways, enjoy the show, guys. Thanks.
Oh, hey, Grant.
Hey, Dave.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Did you end up watching the Oscars?
No, dude. Oh, I had like a low-key meltdown.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was fucking mad. All week, because that was the thing. Like, we don't have TV.
Mm-hmm.
We don't subscribe to a TV or anything like that. And I was reading all online, like, just kind of, like, various, even, like, Canadian websites were posting, like, how to watch the Oscars. And it was either, you watch through TV, like, on TV, or it's through, like, the CTV app, because I guess they have exclusive broadcasting rights.
Yeah.
And I was always under the impression that, like, CTV, like, you could watch some on-demand shows, and then you got to sit through ads, which, whatever, it's the Oscars. There's going to be commercials anyways. And, again, totally my fault. To be fair, like, Leanne and I had, like, a major gaming day, and we were just, like, sucked into what we were playing. And, like, I waited till, like, 40 minutes till the Oscars were on, and it just flat out was like, oh, you don't seem to have a CTV account or, like, a TV service, so you can't watch this. And I was just scrambling to find, like, alternative ways to find the Oscars. I was looking into VPNs and, like, see, like, all this stuff. Oh, yeah, it was... That's
such a pain.
Yeah, it was really silly. Like, I had messaged you. There's no reason this shouldn't have been on YouTube as a live stream. Like,
I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I guess they're one of the last holdouts, because so many of these things are live nowadays on like YouTube and other free streaming services. But I think I sent you, like, in 2014, and I know that's like decades ago when you consider how far streaming has come.
Sure.
But 2014, they had 43.7 million viewers, and then even just last year, it was substantially less at 23.6 million. But in 2021, the Oscars pulled 9.8 million viewers. I cannot imagine, and I get it, like, even with the COVID and stuff, like, the show is just not half as exciting, but, like, I just don't think that cable, I just don't think that people are going to watch it on television.
I think the problem... Again, I follow a lot of movie podcasts, and shout out to The Big Picture, which is the good shit. It's on the Ringer Network. If if you like movies, you should check out that podcast.
Maybe I will. I don't even know about that.
Oh, it's. I think I've sent you one of their other shows, The Rewatchables.
Dude, The Rewatchables is my jam. Yeah, they are killer.
It's the same like Sean Fantasy. It's his shit. Amanda Dobbins, like they're The Big Picture. They're on Rewatchables every now and then.
Dude, The Rewatchables got me when I saw that they were doing an episode on Dunkirk, and their guest was Quentin Tarantino. I was like,
They did a 3-episode arc. They did King of New York. They did Unstoppable, the train movie with Denzel Washington and Chris Pine, and then they did Dunkirk. Awesome, very good. Obscene. Bill Hader's been on a couple times.
Ugh.
Very good show.
What a dream to talk about movies with people like that. Anyway,
yeah,
whatever.
But anyway, so and they're pretty close insiders, and to the industry, like, maybe not insiders, but like they know the industry. And I think it's been more of an Oscar problem, not so much a cable TV issue. Like, I think there's a bit of an from what I've garnered, like as a layman listening to like the Hollywood talk or Hollywood movie talk, I think it's like a bit of an identity crisis for the Oscars now, because also like there's a lot of issues of like imbalance of the voters and people. I guess there's been interviews or like reports have been made, like no names have been come out, but I think like a lot of people just didn't watch the movies this year. Because like because like there's no. It's a lot of old people too. I think now
it's
like,
also tricky, right? Like it was a really bad year for the Oscars, also just with COVID and everything.
Yeah,
I saw one out of all the best pictures. I saw one.
Which one?
Trial of the Chicago 7.
Yeah, us too. We tried to watch Nomadland and I turned it off.
Was it bad? Because they did well, and someone was like, I saw like they won a bunch, and people were like, oh, it's just because of PC reasons, and I was like, well, I don't know, I didn't see it.
It was okay. So
I don't know.
We got to the 40-minute mark, and it was getting pretty heavy, like story wise, like because it's interesting. It's also I'm not big on the movie. Like I'll say that up front. I think I probably should have watched it maybe a little sooner. It was it was because I had the assumption it was going to win Best Picture. That was kind of the consensus on that. So, Leanne and I, that was the one we ended up watching, tried to watch this weekend. And we got to 40 minutes in, and, like, I'm not, we're very blessed. We have very good lives, but, like, we're also blue-collar workers. Like, we, we pay our taxes, we do our job, we have a good life. But, like, my life's not fucking easy either. And there's, like, a bit of a message of, like, and it's, like, rich people making these movies, telling these stories of other people who do have very hard lives and do have a rough go, and it's kind of like
felt pandering to you. It sounds like
it was a little pandering, and I was like, "Fuck you!" Like like it kind of came off as like millionaires making a movie that's going to make millions.
Interesting.
Serving it to people that are kind of in the movie, like like I said, I'm not. I have a good life. There's nothing. I think my point's getting across.
No, it is.
But pandering is the perfect word. And we had stopped, and Leanna was like, "Do you want to finish?" I was like, "No." Like she's gonna be sad for the rest of the movie, and there's probably gonna be a happy, white savior moment at the end of it, and we're gonna have to feel better. Also, they really prop up Amazon in a very weird way.
The company.
Yeah.
Is it an Amazon movie?
No, it's not, but there's a segment because from what we watched, and mind you, like take whoever's listening, take a grain of salt because I didn't finish the movie. Yeah. So, but in the early parts of the movie, there's this thing. I guess there's like a seasonal work. I think it's either in Alaska or Nevada, where it's seasonal. People travel in these campers, these nomads. They work for Amazon for a few months till they're done, and then they tell them to fucking beat it.
Oh, okay.
And I think Amazon pays for like a lot where like essentially a campground, and people get a discounted rate and they can park their trailer or their camper there or their van, and they do this job probably for pennies,
right?
But they kind of the messaging is kind of like Amazon is throwing these people a bone.
Okay.
And
well, everybody knows good guy Amazon.
Well, yeah, and like everyone uses Amazon. Like I absolutely try not to if I can, but like it's I don't know.
A bit of a mixed message, it sounds like, for you.
A very mixed message.
A little politically motivated.
But that's the biggest argument about this movie is this whole Amazon thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Every year, the Oscars happen, and I still believe, like a lot of people are like, oh, the Oscars are more political now than they are like indicative of good cinema. And I think like I understand that point of view because oftentimes you get movies that sweep that seem to be a little bit more about politics than they seem to be about cinema. But at the same time, I think that more often than not, if you look at the Oscars and you look at the Oscar-nominated films, more often than not, those are the best movies of the year. Or at least, critically speaking, or, the majority of them. I'm not saying that's like an absolute rule and that great movies are not often nominated. Some of my favorite movies of all time have been, quote, snubbed by the Oscars. So, like, take that with a grain of salt too. But, to your point, it feels like it kind of got out of hand. Maybe in this instance, I also didn't see the movie. I will say, on this note, on a positive note, I haven't seen any of the others, but I have heard amazing things about 3 of them, and those are The Sound of Metal, the father, Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
And the one I forget, I hate it. Mama something. The Chadwick Boseman movie apparently is stellar.
Oh, Marraine's Black Bottom.
Yes. When I say Mama's something. Mama's something.
But yeah, no, and that's, you know, the thing, the bummer is too, like, it came down to between Nomadland and The Sound of Metal, and I don't know why I didn't choose The Sound of Metal. It's just, I think because I knew Nomadland was gonna win, I was like, I need to see it because I know it's gonna win.
Yeah,
you know,
it's Sound of Metal. Like, all the reviewers that I really, really respect are just pumping that one up. Riz Ahmed, I saw him for the first time in one of my favorite movies.
Venom.
No, is he Venom?
He's the villain.
Oh, I hate that for him. Isn't that he's a great example of, like, you do the Hollywood thing so that you could do the indie movie?
No, after that movie came out, he was pretty vocal about his new stance.
Good.
Of, like, yeah, he was like, he shit
on
on Star Wars.
Really?
He shit on Star Wars. He shit on Venom, which I liked him in Rogue One.
I forgot about all. Dude, the movie I was gonna say was Nightcrawler, the Jake Gyllenhaal movie. He's the assistant, and he's awesome.
Yeah, he's great in that. That's a great movie.
I completely forgot. Oh god, he did Venom. Yeah. I usually like to, like, look at, like, your favorite movies, and then look at, like, the best performances or some of your favorite performances, and it's like, now let's find where the actor got screwed or just like had to pay the bills. I totally forgot about Venom, that poor guy. And I mean, you know, when I say the poor guy, you know, I'm sure he was well compensated and he was on posters all over the world. You know, there could be bigger problems, but, like, God.
No, I know. Yeah, a movie that like was, even though, like, kind of cheesy but like made a ton of money and people kind of like it. You know,
crazy to me. Like, some of these actors, like, who just seem to be so much about the craft. Like, you watch Riz Ahmed in Nightcrawler. Mm-hmm. Like, he took that role and, like, it's not, like, a super juicy, like, movie or role. He's not playing the Jake Gyllenhaal part. You know, he's, like, kind of paying his dues. And you just figure these people are so about the craft, and then you see them in these just dog shit movies. Like, I'm not really trying to attack Venom here, but I just mean every now and then, like, it makes me think of, like, Tom Hardy. Like, I watched Tom Hardy coming out of I don't know, it was a really artsy thing. It was like an HBO thing, that show Taboo.
Yes,
which I liked. Yeah, I didn't think it was, like, you know, changed my world. But then I watched him in Venom, and I was like, wait, what? What?
Did you ever see? It was on HBO. It was called The Night Of.
No, I have it on my watch list. Is that good?
That's a heavy watch, but that is a great show. Like, I think it's a one-off series. It kind of came a little early before, like, you know, a lot of the police injustice in the world. I think it was, like, just before, like.
Beat.
Well, no, and, you know, the fact that the beat, you know, that it missed, like, it's, you know, it's due time, the injustices of some police forces in this world, but just very, like,
if it had come out now, you're saying, like, maybe it would have.
I think it would have been talked about more. I think it was definitely talked about because it's him and
it's Tom Hardy.
No, it's Riz Ahmed.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, sorry, Riz Ahmed, and it's, what's his name? John Turturro plays, like, his lawyer, and he's just a guy Riz Ahmed plays someone wrongly accused of a crime, and he's in prison for a long time, and it just shows how, like, some people, like, all it takes is, like, the second you're in prison, your life is over, because, like, it sucks you in.
Yeah, sucked into the system.
What a performance that is. And,
really?
Like, yeah, I highly recommend it. It's an older show. I think it was like 2015 or 2016.
I remember it was recommended to me when it came out. So, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I'll get around to that. I have it.
Yeah,
queued up.
Oh yeah, for sure. If it's on your queue, definitely get to that one.
Oh, maybe just to close this thing on the Oscars. I watched one thing that I had backlogged, but then it won an Oscar. And it was 12 minutes long, so I watched it. Do you have any guesses?
Whoa, say that again, sorry.
Fine, whatever, bro.
I'm so sorry.
No, I'm kidding. I watched a thing because it won an Oscar, and it was only 12 minutes long, and I had it on my queue anyway, so I watched it. and
it
was
only 12 minutes long. Okay.
If Anything Happens, I Love You, the digital short on Netflix, or the animated short on Netflix.
Oh, I have no idea what that is.
Really? It was rather high profile and critically acclaimed at the time it came out. It came out in 2020, 12 minutes long. I will not spoil.
Okay.
Because it's 10 minutes. Go watch it after this, right? But yeah, it won an Oscar for Best Animated Short. And really good. People were like, "Oh, you're gonna cry." And it's like, you can't make me cry in 12 minutes. And I came close. Very well done.
Really?
Yeah, really, really well done. Really great animation style. Really effective storytelling. Has a very clear message. Nothing crazy. Nothing controversial about it. It was just good. I recommend it. We talked about it like last week. Like, if you're a fan of animation or anime, or if you're not, and like you're listening to the show because you're trying to get into it, I had said check out To Your Eternity, which I still stand by. But this is also a great example of the just how creative the medium is, and how efficient it can be, and how like you couldn't really tell the story that this short tells in the same amount of time, even with like unlimited budget. Like it's very specific to to what they're shooting for, if that makes sense. So If Anything Happens, I Love You.
I'm checking that out. I think I got 12 minutes to spare tonight.
Yeah. Did you rap on Falcon Winter Soldier?
I did. I got some thoughts.
Hit me.
Bloated.
Bloated is the word.
I don't know, like, I honestly, there was some very weird editing in some of those scenes.
Yes.
In the fight scenes, I actually had to, like, it was, late at night. I had to get up, go get my glasses, because that's what, like, I was like, I felt dizzy. I was like, fuck, there's something going on here. And, like, I feel like I don't know what's going on the screen.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I should be wearing these anyways. Maybe this is like a sign to get up. And I went and got them. And I even moved a little closer to the TV. And like the first section of fights, like I guess, the first 30 minutes of the show, anytime there was fighting, I had no idea what was going on. It was like
janky.
It was janky, and it was like, I'm trying to think of an example of like, there's that trend of like quick cuts in action
shaky
stuff for
cam.
A long shaky cam. Not even that. That's the thing.
They don't do the shaky cam. They just do fast edits, like
too fast. I had no idea what was going on.
If you're interested in you and whoever's listening, if you're interested in obviously like good stunt work, everyone knows, go watch John Wick. But more than that, the guys who do those movies or who do those YouTube videos, honest trailers.
Yeah.
They've had the John Wick guys on their show on YouTube. And they like make fun of like the John Wick movies, of their own movies, and like of other movies. And they talk about in depth about like just the trend of quick cuts and how it's meant to hide mistakes, and how it's meant to hide the lack of preparation so that you don't have to have a scene perfectly choreographed. They go over, dude, they like highlight a scene in Taken where there's 11 cuts of Liam Neeson jumping over a fence.
I've 11. Seen that
and it is so horrendous. And like it's funny, like if you think about the Bourne movies, like I don't want to say they pioneered it, but they used like the shaky cam and the quick cuts in like such a aggressive, fun way. But then it feels like Hollywood just sort of like took the ball and fucking ran with that.
Yeah, they're like, that worked.
So yeah. We'll just sort of figure it out and half-ass it. And anyway, I totally agree. A lot of the fight scenes were just sloppy, and it feels like they messed with it in the edit to try and hide that.
But then you get to the latter half of the episode, and it's fine. And which, in my opinion, is like more difficult shots that they got. It was like the scenes they shot the day of was a write-off somehow, and like they had to,
maybe,
you know what I mean?
Maybe because the pacing's all over the place in the finale. But
oh my! I thought it ended 4 times.
Same, but maybe maybe they had time to focus on one fight choreography, but not the other.
Sure,
you never know. Who knows? But
because I'm assuming this was in the bag before COVID hit, right? Or were they filming?
They got
COVID?
delayed.
Oh, they did.
They did get delayed. I know this.
Okay.
I don't know why I know it, but I know it. So, I mean,
let's get into it, because like there is a lot. There is a lot in this that I want to talk about. Like,
so I think I'm annoyed with a couple things. I don't know if I'm super happy with any of it. Not to like be a negative Nancy about it. I mean, I'm glad that. I guess I'll start positive. I'm glad that they at least make the choice and they give, Falcon is now Captain America.
That is by far the definitively best thing about this episode. Is
they give it to him.
They crowned him, and he deserves his own movie, and thank God they are, because he's great as Cap.
Yeah, he's good Cap. He had a good monologue at the end. It was like a little reachy for me. Like it was like we're gonna do better, and then people are like, how? And he's like, you'll do better. And like they took on like a lot of this racially motivated political stuff, and it was like, Jesus, like are we really gonna wade into this, or are you gonna kind of like take a quick easy win and then sort of like get back to the superhero stuff? And it felt like they kind of took a quick easy win and then got back to superhero stuff. I don't want to be a dick about it. I just, I didn't feel especially brave to me. Like, I don't think they really did a ton there.
Sure.
To the extent where it's like, why bother including it? It felt like a way to score some quick points. I don't want to catch any heat for that. That's just how
to
it
be
felt.
fair, they could have done it a lot worse. Like, I think there was...
That's true, too.
There was still some grace to it.
That's true, too.
That, but it's like you said, they picked up the torch, but I feel like they could have just moved it a little further down the line. Like,
the best part of that part of the show was the guy that Bucky fought in I think it was Vietnam, the super soldier. What was his name? Was it Isaiah?
Isaiah.
He was probably the best part of what they decided to do.
It was the most grounded part of the show.
Most grounded part of the show by far.
Yeah.
Really good performance by that guy. The fact that like they like sort of get pulled over afterwards, because they come up to Falcon and stuff. That was like by far the most grounded. They almost could have left it there, but that was really, really well done. But anyway, so the finale. So he's Cap. That's the best part. What else did you like?
What else did I like? I'm glad Bucky didn't catch one.
I thought he might have. I think I called that on the last post show.
I think you did.
Maybe he catches one in the movie. Okay.
Oh, could there's definitely going to be another. There's definitely going to be another Winter Soldier, Captain America movie, like sidekick duo. But I think this is going to sound lame. I think it was funnier and kind of more heartwarming when they were picking on each other.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, we're best friends.
I think that they knew that was the problem with this show, right? Like they knew like we can't just do buddy cops. It might not work. So we have to kind of make them not love each other, but then they end up loving each other. But then like we're Disney and it will be corny and we have to try to avoid the corn. And then like they sort of steer right into it at the end. To be fair, like it's just hard. Like I don't know what I would have done differently, or even if like you gave this without making a really dark show.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do? Right?
I agree. It's a little unfortunate because they set not a dark tone, but a very I guess a mature tone in episode 5.
They did.
Leading into this, and I was like, okay, yes, like because you and I thought this was like an ace in the hole. Coming, like looking, hindsight.
Well, they're really good, big, really great pieces of a show in here, right?
Yeah, lots of good, but there was a lot of, and back to the word bloat, and throughout, and there was a couple weird things leading up to it. In comparison, WandaVision, for its faults at the end, was a better package than I think this
definitely, was. Yeah, WandaVision definitely more consistent, great performances. Actors had more room to breathe. They weren't trying to juggle 5 plots. This show was absolutely trying to juggle too much.
I'm not
John Walker and the Power Broker.
Not into that.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus introduction.
I love me some Julie. So
no, but you know what I mean. Like they were doing that Marvel thing where they try to, as they're showing you one thing, they're trying to set up 3 more.
Yeah.
So yeah, less consistent. WandaVision felt. Like you said, I remember you said, like, your least favorite part of WandaVision was when the Marvel stuff happened. Yeah. And there was just so much more Marvel stuff in this one.
It was not shitting predominantly. No.
I thought, though, another positive thing, these 2 characters got more development now than they ever have. which is fair. I don't know if I love every part of it, of their development, because
But when they do
feel
get a
different.
movie, it's going to be believable.
That's true. I really hope that they feature both of them heavily in the movie, or just give Anthony Mackie a full Cap movie. Did I tell you, or did you see that they announced Cap 4? Is in
You would sent that to me, yeah.
So they are doing it. That is confirmed. I hope they don't call it. I don't know what they're gonna call it actually. I don't know. I'm sure that it'll be a Captain America movie, but
We'll see what things are post the next Spider-Man movie. The next Doctor Strange movie is probably going to set the tone for the next, for the next few years.
Did you see at the credits they call it Captain America and the Winter Soldier?
That was a nice touch.
Was a nice touch. At first I was like, okay, does this leave room for a season 2 or? And then
No
I was
way.
like, no, they're going to do a movie. And then
They are not going to make a Captain America TV show. That is a blockbuster.
Yeah,
that is
go
a
to the
Hollywood, yeah, absolutely.
But then, like, it was the next day I saw the Cap 4 movie announcement. I was like, yeah, okay, here we go.
Yeah, it was all set up. Things I loved. I loved Zemo getting that 4-kill hit.
4-kill hit.
Little last ditch. He sent his butler to blow up the super serum. Or the Flag Smashers. Also, and that's the thing, too. There's a lot of... Wasn't about... I liked the cause. I think she was a good leader. She had just a bunch of no-name, like... henchmen who tried to act like, like we're doing the right thing, we're not doing the right thing, and it was like she didn't have that.
It's like they did their best, with like, again, like I understand the problem, but like they had to introduce this organization of sort of terrorists that are sort of sympathetic. I don't know, that was rough. I think the Flag Smasher group was just rough. They needed bad guys.
Because I was reading, Flag Smasher is a character, not a faction in the comics.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad.
No.
I know you're not either. Like, we're never mad when things aren't loyal or perfect adaptations. I just thought the execution of the whole thing was just kind of like,
that is the problem of stretching, though. That's of stretching a singular premise to a bigger idea. I think, so I'm going to put my Hollywood writer cap on here.
Yeah.
They should not have had... I already forget the girl's name. The leader, is it Carrie?
Carly.
She should have had an underling or a counterpart in the Flag Smashers that was like directly going toe to toe with her. Instead of doing that, they had Sam acted that as that role of like the good guy trying to win her back of like, no, like I'm good. What you're doing is bad. You're good too. They should have had some more internal conflicts to justify some of the actions they were doing, because she would do something bad and everyone would just sit there slack-jawed of like, oh, like what's the next step, Carly? And it's like, that's not good TV. Like
they were just trying to do too much, like you said, and it was stretched.
Yeah.
It was like there was no point where I was like, oh, these are great villains. I was like, I don't know. What am I supposed to feel? They're the bad guys, I guess. They're not bad. I get the idea that it's like not that simple.
Yeah.
I guess it's fine. And then they're gone, and they will leave no one's take will be, I loved Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The Flag Smasher plot really made that show for me.
Yeah.
That, Google those words and quotes, you will get 0 results.
Yeah. I don't know. I think if this, I guess to kind of, round this out, because there's not much more to beat the horse with, but like, I think this would be a bigger bummer if the rest of the season was knocked out of the park completely, and it just wasn't.
Yeah.
There was no blatantly bad episodes. There was no blatantly bad moments, but it was just... The
whole thing was just a little leaky.
But then they had some... The bonus going for them is, like, there were some moments where it was on, and it was good, but then the rest of it was kind of just, like...
Yeah, when they were on, they were on.
By the numbers, yeah. So it's not going to have a bad legacy, but I understand... I understand why... Like, I know they say, like, there were some delays... Because now, after you had mentioned, I remember them saying... Because I think Falcon was supposed to come out first. I now know why they opened up with WandaVision first.
Yeah.
This would have completely killed the hype going into WandaVision.
You know what's funny? What's funny about this one is, like... I think you could tell they put more money into this show than they did Wanda, just because of how much they had going on.
Sure.
And I remember one of the big questions about these Disney shows was like, what's the production value going to be like? Because we're so used to really high-end production value from the MCU movies. You know, you don't want to, like, these shows can't look bad. And this show looked great, but it's funny, like, sometimes it's like, you know, the story was the problem. Like, not saying it was bad, I'm just saying, like, you know, not once was I really worried about the production value outside of, like, a couple fights that didn't look great.
Yeah, I think that was, yeah.
And it's also, man, like, I gotta say, like, look at Cap 1. I think that movie's decent. I know a lot of people really love it. But look at Captain America, the character, once Stephen McFeely and Marcus, what's-his-face, started writing him, and the Russos started directing him, right? Like, Cap, Winter Soldier, Civil War, and then obviously both the last two Avengers movies, all handled by those writers and those directors, and Cap was handled beautifully. None of those guys are involved now. I'm not saying that, like, no one else can do great by the Shield, but I just think it's, like, it's just tricky for the sake of continuity. I mean, I know we've changed a lot of things, but I feel like there was a bit of a dip, maybe just in quality of how they decided to handle everything. I don't know. I'm happy the show was a thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm happy they did it. I don't think they ruined anything. I think it was good. And if you're curious to see what happens to the Shield at the end of Endgame, it's worth a watch.
Also, if anyone hasn't, if we, you know, spoilers, like come on, I know it's a little late to the show there, but, you know, it's totally bad. Don't worry, guys. We're going to edit something in the beginning there.
That's funny. So yeah, I'll see Cap 4 too.
Absolutely. I'll see them all. Like, you know, like they're popcorn smashing, soda drinking blockbuster films, and I'm down. I've always been down for them. And
speaking of blockbuster films, Demon Slayer is now the highest grossing anime movie worldwide.
Let's fucking go then. Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, they're crushing. They gave Mortal Kombat a good fucking run for their money. We're off by like a couple million. I think Demon Slayer is gonna go the distance.
Dave, do you want to hear? Google pulled the nastiest trick on me.
Oh no! Did they do you dirty?
They did me. I was furious actually, and
I
was
no.
like,
I was
like, no, I was like waking up in the morning too, so it was like kind of like that morning grogginess.
Mm-hmm.
I had, and I've never seen it before. I got a push update from my like where I rent movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a push notification for Demon Slayer Mugen Train.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, can I buy it? I was like, can I buy this and watch this tonight? And Dave and I could talk about it on the pod. And they literally sent me a push notification that, like, you can put it in, like, to add to your watch list of when it's available. And I was like,
you filthy bastards.
I was like, these motherfuckers. Like,
dude, I got something similar where it was like Demon Slayer, yada yada yada, Cineplex. I was like, what's Cineplex? Like, we're in lockdown. I clicked on it, and it's like front and center on their website, and it's like no showtimes anywhere. I was like, well, whatever.
Guys. Yeah.
But now that it did hit the States, a lot of the reviewers that I like are putting out reviews. I don't know. People are saying it's bananas. You know, amazing animation. Not, you know, we know what Demon Slayer is.
Yeah.
You know, people, I think, like, it's getting compared, perhaps unfairly, to, like, Spirited Away and Your Name because it beat their box office records.
Yeah.
And those are, like, you know, people look at those as, like, priceless works of art.
Sure.
And Demon Slayer is, like, you know, critically acclaimed and has a lot of heart, but I don't think that kind of movie is, like, you know, it's just not, like, an art house film.
No, man, it's shonen boys loving shonen, and we're showing up and watching it.
Shonen boys showing up.
Like, it's put that on a shirt. Put that on a fucking shirt.
Shonen boys showing up.
Like, you know, it kind of goes back to our conversation last week. Like, people just cannot, like, they have to be so overly critical and analyze things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just, like, Demon Slayer is not Spirited Away, and I can't speak to Your Name, but, like, it can be a dope-ass movie. Like, people, I guarantee you now that it's in the U.S. and there's going to be, like, because there's like, there's content drought for all these, companies, and they're looking for stories, and there's going to be people highbrow people who think anime is for children, and they're going to say I guarantee there's going to be the comparisons of like Marvel movies to like regular classic drama movies, and they're going to say like, this is now the death. There's going to be bullshit articles about this is the death of anime, and I honestly thought the world was in a better place where they weren't going to go that direction, but I can already feel it. Like that's just the little Twitter.
Scorsese's going to go on the Tonight Show. It's like, this Demon Slayer movie is worse than a theme park.
I swear to God, if Scorsese comes out on a talk show,
if he comes after anime, nah.
Yeah, it's over.
That man, he's not surviving.
Why? If you thought the Shonen Boys showed up for Demon Slayer, they're gonna show up for that fight. It's I don't know. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm really excited. Now I'm hyped.
Now you're hyped. Yeah. I say we evaluate our options once lockdown is over, or it comes to VOD. Whatever comes sooner, right? So I'll do whatever.
That's a full price ticket, whatever that costs when it's available. We're
watching. Yeah, and we'll do a podcast about it.
Absolutely.
Do you want to bring anything up? Because I've been mentioning a lot of things here. I've been driving this.
Sure.
I have more though. I have more.
I do too. So this is if you're not invested in heavy music in the little bit to the listeners, just give it a listen. Dave, have you ever heard of the band called Erra?
ERA?
Double R. ERRA.
No.
They're a progressive metalcore band. They've been around for I think their first record was in 2010 or 2011. They've had some good records. They've always had good tunes. They put out their 5th album at the end of March. And I was able... So, like everything else in the world, one of the shittiest things about COVID is if you pre-order a vinyl record and you live in Canada, you are not getting that for a while.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's what that stuff is.
I have been wanting to listen because... It is across the subreddits and the people that follow this genre of music. People have just been saying how this is their definitive album so far. It's their 5th record. It's now their definitive record. It's their definitive sound. This album has been deemed as something special. And I have been waiting and waiting and waiting. I wouldn't listen on Spotify because I want to get the record. I want to kick back in my in my nice chair, and I've been waiting.
I appreciate you for your patience.
Oh, it hurts so bad. I had listened to the singles. So there's I think there was 4 or 5 singles had come out, which is just shy of half the album. It's 12 songs, and I think 5 singles were out. And I listened to the first 3, and I said, that's enough. That's what they want us to see first. I'm going to wait for the rest of the album. Dave, I am so happy I waited because it was just an hour. I got lost, I had the cans on. I was just completely enveloped by this record. It is so fucking heavy. It is so the technicality. I had to message Shane because, there's not too many people I can, that I know, yourself and Shane and my brother, and Devin, there's not too many people that listen to heavy music.
Yeah.
And this album, it has elements of Protest the Hero, and it has it's a mix between Protest the Hero and August Burns Red, and a little bit of Circa Survive thrown in. The clean singing,
you had my curiosity.
No, I absolutely did. And I'm not the clean singer, who is also the lead guitar player and is doing some tremendous things. It's, he just has this very not ominous, he doesn't have the scratchiness of Anthony Green, but he kind of just has this. He knows how to soar when he needs to, and he knows how to be quiet. They're a progressive band, so everyone on the instruments is just an absolute assassin, and it has that good mix of you and I both love Protest the Hero, and they're the perfect example of, yes, they're playing at breakneck speed and technicality, but it's understandable still.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Yeah,
though
you
they're
don't
like
get
it's
lost in the mix.
you don't get lost, and you know it's and like another band would be like Between the Buried and Me. They kind of thread that line of like they're heavy, and when they're playing fast, you can kind of still understand what is being done, even though like you don't have to be like a guitar player to understand, but like you know like you can follow it. And these guys, this record does a really really good job of blending those heavy breakdown moments of soft, you know, like just like it's so experimental, not in the obnoxious like we got synthesizers, like it's not shoegaze, but like it's just blended. They take elements from other genres, you know, like it's nothing outwardly, like there's no banjos, there's no like tambourines or anything like that, but like they take kind of some synth stuff, and it's not thrown in your face like you know, like this is our synth song. Like they take synths, it lets it sit in the middle ground. You know, the drums and the bass are like, you know, holding it down. And like it's such a well blended record. So like I said, you know, if there's some tracks that I could shout out for anyone listening, definitely House of Glass is one.
House of Glass by Erra.
That's a good one. That it hits quick and heavy in the beginning, and then it kind of has that pace of, oh, this is like a fast song on the record, and then it slows down, and you're like, oh, and then it comes back swinging like no, like this is the heavy song. You know, like yeah. Divisionary, I'm a bass player, an unreal kind of bass, like, you know, break point between, you know, like a you know, the last verse into like one of the final choruses at the end of the song. And then there's a song at the end of the record, which is like, if you are into prog music, it's called Eidolon. Actually, the last three songs on the record, Remnant and Memory Fiction as well, you just get lost on. They are so out there. And like the dude that screams is like, that dude knows how to scream. Like he
you're hype on this. This is a
oh my
big
god,
record for you.
Dave, this is a huge record for me. I've been, you know, I've listened to their past two previous records, and I like them. They had some really good tunes. You know, I would recommend them to people, but like this is definitely their best record, and this record should make them a big deal.
All right,
to more
give
people.
Them an honest try.
And like I said, it's heavy, and I think the genre, it's like, you know, I think it's called gent is the, you know, I'm saying this like I don't know what it is. I do know what it is, but like I tend to not settle in that genre specifically, but like there's elements of that and some, as David, like as like one of the biggest Protest the Hero fans that I know, a band that you and I love and adore together, like it's a passion of ours. You know, I think the trifecta of Dave and Grant is Circus Survive, Dance Gavin Dance, and Protest the Hero.
Wow, that's true.
And a little bit of Thrice in there too, if there's if there are top four. But anyways, I highly recommend this to you. At the very least, you should be listening to this record. And if anyone listening, if you like heavy music,
what's the record called?
It's self-titled. It's called Erra.
Erra, okay.
Yeah.
I will absolutely give them a shot.
Oh, it's great record. It's a really good front to backer. No slow moments. Everything flows naturally, which, you know, and one last thing, you know, like I've had, not in a musical rut, but there's just, you know, last year there were some really good records, but there's been nothing this year so far that's really blown me out of the water. I think the last record that I was really passionate about was the Dirty Nil, the punk band. They're somewhere in Ontario. They put a record out called Fuck Art. And Dave, that's also a really good banger too. It's just laugh, like, just funny, like tongue in cheek kind of tunes, and yeah, really good shit.
All right, I will check out Erra and Fuck Art.
Oh yeah, definitely Fuck Art. If you got another album in you, a quick little romp, definitely check that one out.
You know who put out a record this week is Tillian of Dance Gavin Dance put out a solo record.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
Factory Reset.
How's that? You check it out?
It's I gotta say, he's been chomping at the bit with solo work for a while, and I have liked none of it.
Oh really?
It is. It's weird how, you know, you get these awesome vocalists sometimes, and their solo projects just really miss. That said, this is his best yet.
Okay.
Because he's been doing this for years. Like he has like several albums, I think, at least 2 or 3. This is his best yet. There's a couple songs on here that are like DGD light almost, like just no John Mess, and not nearly as technical guitar work,
Sure.
but like are kind of rocky, light rock opportunities for Tillian to kind of flex his vocals,
Okay.
which he does all the time anyway. But 2 tracks I'll recommend off that one are Dose and Hands Around My Throat. And they're both decent. They're both, as the kids say, they're both, a bit of a bop. Yeah, they're a couple bops.
Oh, one of them's a closer, too. Okay.
Yeah, Hands Around My Throat's decent. A little maybe one-dimensional, but, like, I still find myself, jamming that one on my, like, daily walk on lunch or whatever, so it deserves a shout-out.
It's the only person downloaded.
Yeah, do that. There's one other thing we desperately need to mention. We can go as long as we want, but the other one that we absolutely have to talk about is Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen the pilot or not?
I have not.
So, I will spoil nothing for you.
No, yeah.
Obviously,
You're a gentleman. I know you would not do that.
A gentleman and a scholar. But, it's definitely worth the hype. It's hard, right? Like, because To Your Eternity and Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm watching sort of at the same time. I'm only 1 episode into Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm caught up on To Your Eternity. And I went on this whole rant last week about how, like, To Your Eternity is a great example of the art form, right? Of anime. And Jujutsu Kaisen is similar, except for that it's a perfect example in its pilot, and we all know how hard pilots are. Mm-hmm. It's a perfect example of just the shonen genre, and it is like stellarly animated. It's like you look at Attack on Titan season 4 and you look at Jujutsu Kaisen, you're like, that's where all the fucking animators were. It's like they had one guy, there must have been one guy working on fucking Attack on Titan, and all of them were in one room working on Jujutsu Kaisen. This thing is beautiful. Not to say AOT is bad. I'm just poking at that, but
Sure.
It's better than the best episode of AOT by far in the pilot.
Really?
I don't know about by far, but it is better. I'm not saying it's earth-shattering. All I will say is that, this looks like a legit shonen, and if it weren't for this podcast, I could see myself binging this in, a week or 2. It looks
Really?
legit. Yeah, and, that doesn't mean it's the best ever, right? There's plenty of shows that I've binged that are, not on the all-time list or whatever. But, yeah, it looks really good. The animation is good. It looks like a good shonen. Good everything. Music, production value, animation. Looks legit, man. It is the real deal, which is, not surprising given the amount of ridiculous hype behind that show.
Do you think we shit the bed a little bit, not jumping in on it sooner?
I don't know. We were pretty, if you think about it, if it depends. If we wanted to cover it or talk about it, we didn't really have time. It was all about AOT. And I think that I don't regret putting the focus on Attack on Titan.
No, absolutely not. That was the hard thing.
I don't think we could have done both. You know what I mean? I think we had to choose, and we decided to do Attack on Titan, whatever. But how we want to... I say you should go check out the pilot whenever you want, and then we'll make, a call then on, if we want to, cover it on this show week to week, or if we want to, just watch it at our own pace. I don't really care. But, it's legit.
I will... I'll definitely be checking that out. It's like I said, it's we've been kind of jonesing to watch this show, but there's just so much
going on.
Yeah.
Did you watch To Your Eternity at all?
I have not. I was about to watch it today.
Here, bud.
No, I know. I've been dropping the ball on that. There's been I said at the beginning of the episode, Leanna and I, the plan was Sunday was to watch, just
Vinland Saga.
Well, it was to watch some anime, catch up on some anime, and putter around, do some stuff around the house. And both Leanna and I absolutely fell into a gaming hole.
Oh, really?
Well, because Leanna loves The Sims. And there's I don't know where she saw it or she had heard about it. It's like a sim type game, and it's an early access game called The Tenants. and the mechanics of the game, I couldn't tell you, but she was absolutely like clocked into that like it was no one's business. Like, and I was like, oh, I guess all right, we're playing some games today, and I've been playing. So Joey, my soon to be brother-in-law, Giuseppe, he has been for a couple years now has been trying to get me to play the Yakuza games, which, you know, I guess a moron would say that they're like a Japanese, you know, anime-esque version of GTA, which is, like I said, a moron would say that. It's not that, but it's, to quickly describe it, it's just kind of like an open world. You play like a Yakuza member, but it's so in depth. You know, we'll talk about it at a later date.
Yeah, I've never even heard of this, but I'll hear. Interested to hear more next time.
This is the 7th one in the series.
Jesus.
And anyway, so I've been playing this. You know, Joey lent it to me, and I finally said, because it's typically they were like brawler games, like, you know, just like, you know, smashing, you know, square to, you know, punch your enemy kind of thing. But this is like a JRPG. It's like a turn-based, like, party, you know, four-member party type thing. And this game it's no lie, no hyperbole, probably one of my favorite gaming experiences in probably the past 10 years.
Jesus.
Yeah,
what is it called?
It's called Yakuza Like a Dragon. It's Yakuza 7 in Japan. But like I said, Dave, it's, you know, if anyway,
make a note of it.
No, seriously, if anyone listening to the show, like, if you like anime, you've definitely heard of this series, and if you're embedded in like this type of genre, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it's Dave, it's an anime come to life. Like, the quirkiness of the characters and the side quests are called sub stories. Anyways, there's, you know, all I did Sunday was I grinded out to max level. Grinded out my job levels as high as I could, because there's like this final secret dungeon that you can go to, and there's a trophy associated to it. And by God, Dave, I grinded it the fuck out. And Monday morning after my coffee, after 2.5 hours of attempting the final boss in this dungeon, I did it. I got the trophy, and like, it's actually one of my proudest gaming moments like ever. And I'm an okay gamer.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's funny. It's funny you say that. My lady friend has been really on Breath of the Wild.
Oh,
seeing
shit.
her discover games, like, because I think, what have we been playing on Switch? Oh, it was all Animal Crossing, right?
Oh, sure.
Because I think she got a Switch and we started playing Smash a lot. Fucking COVID purchases, right? And just like trying to pass the time.
Dave, I'm actually a little choked. I didn't know you bought one.
Well, she bought one.
Okay.
Gotcha. So she bought it. Then we got like Smash and Animal Crossing and whatever. And then finally she was like, okay, what about this Breath of the Wild game? And, you know, she's pretty new to gaming, and she seriously struggled in the first like few days. I was like, shit, like this might be a miss. And games are not cheap, right? Games are $80 now.
Especially, Switch games
are
never on sale.
She had literally never played a game. Like, this is crazy to you and me and maybe everybody listening, but she had never played a game where you move with one left analog stick and you have to move the camera with the right analog stick. That was foreign to her. She was like, wait, what? She's like, I've been playing for 10 hours. I didn't realize that's what the right stick was for. And I was like, you're going to have a rough go with this. Like,
but clearly she's grasped. Like, she's in.
Cut to a week later, she like just soloed a Divine Beast and the boss at the end on her first try. Oh. She got, you know, the Hylian Shield and the Master Sword. She's just...
Oh, wow. So she definitely logged some hours
She's
to the Master
just
Sword.
fell down the pit of Breath of the Wild. And every time I play that game to like help her with something or just to steal a turn on the Switch, I'm like, I understand the hype around this game. I understand how it shot to like the all-time list so quickly after launch. That game is ridiculous.
I don't want to throw shade, but I feel like next week I would like to have a conversation with Sam about the Breath of a Wild experience. Like,
no, it's really great. It's really
there's
great.
there's you know, jokes aside, like there's some things I genuinely did not like about that game. Mainly the weapon system.
Yep,
and
100%.
the Divine Beast, which is all-time low, like in the series for me.
Interesting.
But like oh my god, we could go for hours on this, but like just the world of imagination, like Terrytown, Did you guys do that side quest?
No, not yet. There's a good chance she did it and I wasn't there.
Oh, sure. Like, just, the slow development of this town and the characters in the town. And it was like, this is a game. Like, it's crazy. It was crazy to me. When I got to that.
So many open world RPGs, like Fallout comes to mind, where people are like, oh, the world's so big and you can get lost in it. And then every time I pick it up, like, I don't want to do anything because the game is just so big and overwhelming. And it's like, I don't even, like, I felt that way about The Witcher. I didn't like The Witcher at all. And everybody loves the fucking Witcher.
I like that. I like
but, I'm not shitting on it. I'm just saying, like,
No.
I remember there's these giant games that are open world and people go, oh, you can do anything. And it's like, yeah, but I don't want to because, like, I'm just so distracted and it feels like work. Breath of the Wild is like one of these games where, for whatever reason, just the way they did it, I get lost every time. I'm like, okay, I'm on my way to a tower. And then cut to 40 minutes later, I'm like hunting and getting meat and like raiding bokoblins, you know what I mean? And like in the middle of a shrine. Like, it's just such an easy game to get lost in. It is obscene how good that game is.
I remember blowing 2 hours. There's this one. I can't remember that. It's been a long time since I played it because I got a Switch when it came out, and that was the game I got with it. So I haven't played since like 6 months, from when I got it to that point, and I played it for a long time. But there was like a jungle area, and I was like doing something, and like this lightning dragon showed up in the sky. And I was like, well, I'm going to spend 2 hours trying to kill this fucking thing. And like, and try and get something from it. And like, I completely, like, you just get so off the path and there's just so much there. Like, it's a world to discover, and how many games can actually do that?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I have one piece of breaking news. And I feel pretty confident about it. I was like, should I bring this up on the show? Should I not bring this up on the show? I'm going to bring it up on the show. Are you ready?
Do it.
If you're listening to this episode of the Post Show, thank you. We've gone for 55 minutes, so we'll see if there's anybody still listening. But if you've made it this far, pay special attention to our new logo because the final renders just came in. We want to give my dearest cousin Megan a big shout out for this.
Thank you.
Professional animator extraordinaire and teacher, and has rendered us her services. And yeah, we love it. Thank you so much.
Love it. Thank you.
We're gonna put this on unlimited amount of merch. It doesn't even matter if anybody buys it. I'm just gonna redo my whole wardrobe. I'm making
100 shirts of this shirt. I need you to at least buy 98 of them.
Yeah, no, otherwise, because we're gonna short our mortgages on it, so there's no way else to fund it. But yeah, so this is the new logo. We hope you like it. It's gonna be everywhere. It's gonna be in your life now.
I have an empty glass in front of me, but I would like to say congratulations to you and I.
Hey, congratulations to you.
We got this far. This little passion project of ours, this little fart in the wind that's turned into something of substance, which we are very proud of. Chink chink.
Clink clink.
Or clink clink, sorry. Pardon me.
Congrats,
man. This is a big moment for us. And the talks, we're letting everyone know. It's not just going to be our dopey voices opening up every pod each week. We're in the process of getting a song or an intro song started, and that's the next step. But we got the key art now, and it's a good place to be.
Go back and listen to our recap of Attack on Titan season 3 when we were recording on our phone mics, I think, or our headphone mics. We've come far.
Yeah.
From there, now we've got a post show because we've got a new show and a post show and a logo. Intro coming soon. We're killing it, okay?
I'm smiles ear to ear, Dave.
Grab us by the horns. Try and stay along for the ride. We are going nowhere.
Can't stop us now.
Exactly. I think that's probably a good place to wrap it up, unless there's anything else you want to get to.
Dave, I could post show for 2 more hours, but that's not what we're about.
Dude,
so
I know. We didn't even mention Invincible or the fact that I watched the Tokyo Revengers pilot.
Oh, shit. Okay, well, we'll put it on the list. That'll be what we talk about first next week.
For the next post show, we're gonna, Invincible, I don't even know how many episodes that is, but it might be over by the time next week happens, because it feels like we're hurtling.
Yeah, well, I'm behind. I tried to catch up, and that's kind of where my hot take was coming from. Yeah.
My hot take is just watch episode 7 for the love of God.
Oh yeah.
Get to 7, wrap that up. We'll talk about it on the post show next week and see where you're at. I think you should watch 7 though, up to 7.
Okay, all right, I can do that.
So let's do that. So yeah, tune in to the post show next week for that. Otherwise, we'll be back with My Hero Academia next Wednesday.
Perfect. Right on, guys. See you later.
Thank you for listening. Cheers.